they seem very muscular. Some people have their shirts off. There's even Jake that'll play barefoot, right? And you've got people who are just going rogue out there. And they look at me because I'm somewhat fit. And they're like, oh, you ready? I go, yeah, you don't want me.
Yeah.
I'm just here to take notes. Hi, welcome to episode 4 of Crush Life and talking about crushing. I've got one of our shirts. You can go to crushpickleball.com. I crush balls. Speaking of balls, who do we have here today, honey?
Bric, the man Parmley.
Yeah.
Welcome, Bric.
And you played with a lot of different balls before you came over to pickleball.
A lot of balls in my life.
You were in basketball in high school
Yep.
and football in college.
Yep.
And Bric, I mean, he was up at college with our oldest Cody, and we did not even know it.
No, I know.
Small world.
That was very cool.
Tell us.
Well, wait, let me tell you this. So I remember when we would go, I would take Joey to some of the courts, and I would see Bric come out.
Yeah.
Bric, how tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
Okay, he's 6'4". So he's Cody's.
About Cody's height, yeah.
Cody's height. And so he would come out, and I remember it was some of the first couple times that he would come out and play. And I got to talk to him one time. He was very nice. He knew everybody on the court
He's
and everything
here.
like that. No, I know that. But I'm telling you the story for the first time.
Thank you, though, Pete.
But then Joey would come out, and you know, this was a year ago, so Joey was smaller and everything. And I looked at Bric, and I'm like, dude, this guy's a beast. I'm like,
Yeah.
he's like, I'm watching him crush balls.
Literally.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, I think that one's cracked.
Yeah.
You know, and just slamming it on people and everything like that. And then one time Joey says to me, he says, Dad, let's just go play him. And I was like, all right, I don't know how this is gonna go. And I don't remember how it go. I don't think we won, but
No. That's
anyway,
okay. You gotta
I'd
start
like to
somewhere.
think that I won. But
so anyway,
Yeah.
I think he did.
So tell us about people think of pickleball and they're like, you know, even like when Joey came home to us, it was like, that's for old people.
Yeah.
It's not anymore. What
No.
brought you to pickleball? How'd you
It's-
get introduced?
It's wild. I mean, my mom sort of introduced it to me, and
cool. I didn't
it
know
was
that.
a family endeavor.
Yep.
And we went out to the pickleball courts, and we knew sort of the basics of the rules, and we
Yep.
just kind of hit the ball hard
Yep.
and hoped the other person didn't hit it back. And then one day I said, let's go play pickleball. And they said, we don't want to play pickleball. We're kind of tired of it,
Yeah.
you know? And I wasn't.
You
And
weren't.
so it's kind of against my personality, but I went out there by myself and just tried to figure out if anybody wanted to play. And
Which you can do with this sport, isn't it? That's the beauty of the sport.
100%.
Yeah.
You show up to the court, you put your paddle in the rack, and you play with anybody who's
Strangers.
willing to have you, strangers,
Yeah.
you know? And as you see now, I mean, a year later, and you make incredible friends, and you get involved in the community.
Is that what it's been for you, a year?
Yeah, it's been a year. So I played in my first tournament back last January. So it's been a year since
Wow.
I started playing tournaments, and just having a blast.
It's funny because I remember when we went over to Horizon, we were talking about it on our previous episode, and it was a little intimidating, right? You know, people have video cameras and they seem very muscular. Some people have their shirts off. There's even Jake that'll play barefoot, right? And you've got people who are just going rogue out there. And they look at me because I'm somewhat fit. And they're like, oh, you ready? I go, yeah, you don't want me.
Yeah.
I'm just here to take notes. Who knew we'd be starting a business? And I was taking notes on
Right.
what we were doing. But tell me about your journey with pickleball. Tell me about the paddles you were using and why crush?
Yeah. So I mean, my journey with pickleball, as I said, was just strictly for fun. And then I kind of showed up on the court one day and I started playing with somebody. And then she asked me, she said, hey, have you ever thought about playing in a tournament? And I was like, there are pickleball tournaments. And
Because you're used to basketball
like
and
that,
football.
yeah.
I mean, I've been a team sport guy
You're
my
competitive.
entire life. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
competitive. I've been a team sport guy my entire life. And then you get on the pickleball court and you got one person to blame, and it's yourself.
Right.
So it was kind of different than anything else that I'd experienced in the past. And she hits me with, hey, do you want to play in a tournament with me? Didn't even know there was tournaments, but I was like, heck yeah, let's do it. We signed up. We won. And I'm like,
Wow.
I love winning.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in.
So do we.
So at that point, I was hooked, and then I played in a couple more tournaments. We won 2 more tournaments, and then she moved. She moved to San Antonio, and I felt like I was back to square one. And I
remember because we met you guys at Thompson Peak.
yes,
Yes.
and
Okay.
I all of a sudden
It's all
I
ringing a bell.
become a singles player.
Yeah.
And
Now
I'm
you
just-
really have no one to blame.
and then I got really
Right.
no one to blame. So I'm
Right.
just playing singles, and then all of a sudden, John, who
Yep.
we know John, and
Yes.
he
We'll have
said-
him on a.
We'll have
next
John
episode.
hopefully on a later episode.
Yeah.
Great guy. He says, you want to play in a men's tournament? And I'm like, absolutely. And from that point in time, I mean, I've been introduced to so many great people, so many fun people that I'm hanging out with outside of pickleball.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
I'm not just showing up to the court to just see random people now. Now I know people. I'm saying hi to people by name, you know, fist bumps, high fives. It's just an incredible community. But I started out like most people do in pickleball. I had Amazon paddles. I was just kind of hitting them around.
We did too. Remember when Joey
Yeah.
started playing? I bought a 4-pack for
Yeah.
$70,
Yeah.
four paddles, balls, and a bag. And
Wood paddles.
And everybody looked at me like I had my head screwed on backwards.
Right.
And
It worked for a couple weeks.
it did for a little bit.
That was about
Yeah.
it.
And then
Yeah.
Joey proceeded
And
to
then
buy
Joey was like, I want
next, for the next 2 months.
Oh no, he said he wanted this paddle. It was like $250 or $300. I go, you've lost your marbles.
Yeah.
Who pays that?
Yep.
And that kind of actually got us on and we'll come back to you, but you know, that kind of got us onto Crush. You know, when we decided to do this, I said, we're not going to cut corners. We're going to make great paddles. We're going to charge less.
Yeah.
But go ahead. So sorry. You said you bought some Amazon.
Yeah, I bought some Amazon paddles. I was playing with Amazon paddles. And then when Kat is the
Right.
girl who
That
asked
you're
me to
playing with,
play,
yeah.
which she's coming back and I'm playing 4-5 with
I
her.
remember her.
cool.
She's a
CPA.
sweetheart.
Yep.
Oh,
So I'm
at
stoked
the end of this January?
yeah, February.
Oh,
So I'll
awesome.
play
Yeah.
with her in Mesa. So I'm
Cool.
stoked to have her back. She's
Awesome.
incredible, super great.
Great.
I'm glad she got me into the sport the way she did. But she got me a gearbox paddle for Christmas.
Right. That was sweet.
And
actually.
because I was like, I'm not spending $200 on a paddle.
Sure.
She got me a gearbox for Christmas. And then I just, from there, playing with, you know, a better paddle was just like, you know, I got to keep playing with this. I can't go back the way I was. And so I bought a carbon. And then
You were addicted.
and I was just
You were going
addicted.
through the gamut.
I bought a carbon. I even splurged on the Power Series carbon.
Yep.
So it was, you know, a little bit more expensive. Got that as a birthday present. And then I became really close with you guys and B and John and all of these great people, all these people in this Crush community. And I was like, I just have to be a part. I just have to be a part. There's nobody I'd rather associate with in this community. And so when you guys came to me with the offer of being on Team Crush, it was a no-brainer. Like I just
That's
love it.
awesome. Well, we sized you up. Well,
Yeah.
no, but we did because we saw somebody that kind of wore their heart on their sleeve.
Absolutely.
We saw the way you interacted with people on the court, you know, and things like that. And it was kind of like that pickleball community. And we said we were like kind of
Yeah.
like Brett. Yeah, and like Brett would tell us, and we would talk amongst each other, like it's got to fit the mold, right?
For
Like
sure.
we want people that are part of this, that are good people, that do, you know, that act the way you did.
Appreciate that.
Tell me something. So you played sports, so you played basketball in high school, right?
Yep.
And then football at NAU.
Yep.
So you played at a high level, you know, and everything. And now here you are in pickleball.
Yeah.
And so you kind of told us your story, like, okay, well, this is how I kind of got into pickleball, you know, you were saying with your family and stuff, but what has it done for you, like yourselves? Like, you know, because we hear stories all the time about people saying, well, you know, I've struggled with this, or I've had this pitfall in my life, and, you know, this and that. Or, you know, school wasn't easy for me, whatever the case
Yeah.
may be.
You know what someone said the other day too is certain sports we're prohibited from playing them because we don't have the financial means.
Yeah.
You do have to buy the paddle, don't get me wrong, but I
Right.
think that's what's unique about pickleball for me as a mom. It's like, you know, you want to go ice skating, you want to go do this, you want to go, everything costs money. Pickleball is just a one-time,
Low
you know,
barrier
buy,
entry.
low barrier entry, and then you get to play. But what's it done for you?
You know, I think for me, single mom, 2 younger siblings, my entire life, you know, from a young age, it's just been us. And I have dedicated so much time and so much focus because they mean the world to me and they mean everything to me.
I get
And then
that.
you know, I wanted to make sure that they had everything and they were safe. And my mom has done incredible things for me to mold me into the man I am today. But I go up to college and all of a sudden I'm on my own, you know, and I'm playing on a team and everybody, we care about each other. Everybody on this team, we're brothers.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, everybody's trying to get theirs.
Right.
Everybody's trying to
Look out for themselves.
they're trying to look at the end of the day, if it was them,
yeah.
they're going to take care of themselves.
Right.
Right.
You know, and so I
Teaches
sort of
you some good life skills.
exactly. And so
right?
I sort of developed that attitude of like, I'm going to get mine. I'm going to make sure I got mine before anybody else outside of my family. Of course, I'm always concerned about my family, but I think what pickleball has done for me is it's sort of taken me outside
Hold
of
you
that
back.
shell
Yep.
because 90% of the people on the court, whether they're a stranger or they're a close friend, they go out there and they play, but they play with such love and such passion
So much heart.
and so much heart,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
and they not only are welcoming, but they welcome you in and then they care about you.
Mhm.
You know, and that's what I love is I can go to a tournament and I can play against somebody and we can battle and we can be competitive and we can be pissed and we can be happy and we can
Yeah.
be all this stuff. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're going to tap paddles and there's a mutual respect.
Some athletes aren't
Yeah,
doing that anymore.
that's so cool.
Some athletes are
Well,
avoiding the paddles.
it's funny you say that because I remember a couple tournaments in when we were really starting to build our team, and I was like, oh no, Crush is playing against each other.
Oh,
I'm
right.
like, oh no, I go, I can't watch it.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to pick sides. And then he was like, you got to go over and video it. And I'm like, nope, I can't video it either. I go, I want everyone to win. He's like, but that's not a game. I go, I know I'm no good for this. I go, I'm just going to go around the corner. We were at Pickleball Backyard.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope, we have both our teams playing. I go, I'm going to go around there and you just let me know when it's
Right.
done.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Can't watch
you
it.
did a good job.
Yeah.
But that is cool because that's, we've been hearing that over and over. And we were just talking about that in a prior podcast. Was just like, it doesn't matter what level you're at and you're just accepted. And you can go and just like battle it out, like almost want to kill each other. But then you guys walk off and then you guys go have like lunch together.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, whatever. I mean, personally for me, I lose like pretty much almost every single game because I'm probably playing it
I
too
don't
high.
lose, but I don't play.
But I'm still happy and I walk off and I'm having a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. He's actually not bad.
No,
honestly.
I think for me is like I have so many times throughout my life with team sports, I just hear everybody, I want to prove my haters wrong. I want to prove my doubters wrong. And I think something that my mom sort of instilled from within me for my entire life is why would you be so concerned about proving the doubters wrong? Why wouldn't you prove the people who care about you and the people who support you right? And I
And
think
you'll always have doubters and you'll
And
always have haters. I tell
always
my
gonna
kids
have
that all the
doubters.
time. Just go do you.
And so
That is, I'm sorry to cut you off, but that was
Awesome.
awesome.
Spot on.
That was so kudos to your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Well, and that's what we tell the
It's so
kids.
true.
I remember we walked in, a place we'd had a banner and Joey's like, Mom, there's a banner bigger than yours. And I go, baby, there's always going to be somebody bigger. You just got to be better.
Yep.
And that's really our journey. And, bringing our athletes on, I would say one of the key components for me, and I think you would agree as well. I don't want to talk anyone into our brand.
No.
I really don't. I mean, I love that people love us. That means so much to me. And I love that they want to be a part of this community because a lot of people are lacking that community. Not everyone has a mother and father at home. Not everyone has siblings. A lot of people are challenged financially, physically, emotionally. And there is something about Team Crush. I mean, we put together that last minute tournament right at the JW Marriott that Smiley Riley that we had on the previous episode was kind enough to offer that facility. We had 70 people show up on a whim. Like it was the sense of community it's priceless. But coming back to the paddle, to the equipment, I do not want to talk anyone in to our paddle.
No.
And that is really like we interview people all over the country. We tell them when they're like on the fence because they've had these big brands and they think, well, a big brand is better. People just assume that. That's not always the case.
Yep.
And we just say, here you go. Here's a coupon code. Try our paddle. Come back in 30 days. And they call me 5 days later, 3 days later. I don't need to wait 30 days. I want in.
Yep.
This paddle's improving my game. But, this podcast is more than just about a paddle or about a company. We want to crush life. And we want to do it with the group of people that we're bringing on.
Sure. No, and I can't thank you guys enough. I know that that's not what you guys are here for. You're not here for thank yous. And I know that, but I can't thank you guys enough for just everything you've brought, not just to my life, but to the sport and to the community. It's an incredible thing that you guys are doing. And, just to go to a public park and see Crush all over the place
so cool, right?
is insane.
I know we have to pinch ourselves.
Because like I know you guys as Pete and Rochelle, but you guys are really, you guys are badasses the way you guys, I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on the pod.
You can. It's not explicit.
You guys are badass in the way you guys handle things and the way you guys approach running a business is, exactly what I want to associate myself with. So just thank you guys for doing what you do and being a part of my life. So I appreciate it.
Well, and we were telling Riley on the previous podcast, or I was, this is not for the faint-hearted.
Oh.
And I think the best part is having people come up and saying, you know, how do I start a business? How
Yeah.
are you guys doing what you're doing? And we don't have a magic wand. I mean, Jesus is our leader and savior, and he's a guiding light for everything that we're doing. Um, you know, Pete had texted me, you know, did I get everything done? I go, he's like, is there anything else you need? I go, we just need to pray more, because at the end of the day, there are a lot of paddle companies out there.
Sure.
There's a lot of noise in the world. There's a lot of distractions. And I think, I don't think, I know that when we started this podcast, it was really about crushing so much more than paddles. It was about touching lives, bringing people on, meeting them where they're at, and then how do we take their story and touch somebody else's? Because someone might not be able to relate to us. You know, we're older, and someone might not be able to relate to
Right.
where we are, but we have all these incredible people that have a story to tell, and we're hoping that your stories will influence somebody else.
Absolutely.
We think so. When I look at Bric, I see, because you're what? How old? 25?
I'm 23.
23. So you're 23.
Okay, so he's a year younger than Cody.
Wait, can we take him out to next gen?
When are you 24?
I turned 24 in March.
I don't know. We got to find out. That
We
would
gotta
be
find-
cool.
March what?
Joey's asked me a
March
couple of times,
what?
and I'm like, get back to me with the details.
March what?
8th, so early March.
I don't know.
Write that down.
I
We'll have to find out.
Okay.
Anyway, so you're doing tournaments coming up.
Yep.
So overall, what's your like goal with
Yeah, what do you want to
pickleball?
do?
And
Is it just for
was-
fun? Is it a little fun, a little competition? Is it?
It's so tough, and I've had conversations with my mom about this with anything. I mean, we could be playing
Right.
ping pong in the house, and I've had a thing my entire life where winning is fun,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and she's told me, you know, at some point in time, you're going to have to put that aside and just focus on having fun. But right now, winning is fun. And so I think what makes pickleball so
A smart
enjoyable for me is being the best I can be. And whether that means pushing to become pro one day, whether that means being
Just improving your
being a
game.
darn good 5-0, whether
Yeah.
that means being a darn good person, whether that
Mhm.
means, for me, it's, I will take pickleball as far as pickleball will allow me to do. And as long as I'm still enjoying it, as long as I'm still building relationships and being a part of the community, an active member of the community, you know, I want to grow as far as I can with pickleball. I don't really have
You
like
don't know what that is. You don't have a plan. You're just having fun, and you're having fun winning.
I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I want to be pro by next year.
Right.
That's just not something that I really want to hold myself to.
Yeah.
But what I do know is every day I want to go out there and I
And
want
get
to be a
better.
better player and a better person. And that's
Yeah.
that's what I strive to be every day, you know. So
It was funny. I was talking to one of our athletes, and we talk to almost an athlete every day. We've
Sure.
got athletes who just text us in the morning or at night or on the weekend
Mhm.
and Christmas and I mean, it's just, that's why I'm like our kids. It's wild. But I had one text me this morning and said, "What are your thoughts about putting pickleball on your clothing next to Crush?" Because people ask me what Crush is, and I said that was part of our marketing. She's like, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Would anyone ask you what it was if it said pickleball?"
mhm.
So people are stopping and asking you, what is Crush? How many people stop you?
Yep.
You know, and really at the end of the day, you know, the branding is important. It is important. We were talking, you gave an example the other day on a Zoom call. You said, you know, when you see Travis Matthews, you know that logo anywhere you go. Anywhere you go, you know it's a logo. But if he were to walk in the door tomorrow, would you know who he is? The answer is no to every person I've asked that to.
Yeah.
I don't really care if we're known or not. And the brand, it matters, and you want that brand to be known.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, we want to touch lives.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's done through team. So I think
it is not about us.
It's not
Oh,
us.
for sure.
We built the brand.
We need,
You guys are building the team.
well, you need your soldiers.
Right.
I mean, think about it. You guys are like our little soldiers
Right.
that go out. And it's exciting.
I have one more question for you.
Hit me.
So, what is it? Because you're on the. How many times you play a week?
3, 4. Depends on
So
how much go out.
what drags you out onto the court?
I don't think anything's
what is
dragging
it?
Yeah.
We're not
He's
dragging you.
dragging.
What's the motivation then? Is
Oh,
it
yeah.
what's the motivation to want to go out on the court? Is it to see somebody? Is it to play? Is it what is it?
It's a different thing every day. It's a different thing every day. Someday I'm looking at my Whoop
You're like,
data and I'm like, I
really
got to get
important.
out there and I got to,
Yeah.
you know, put more strain on my whoop. Some
Yeah.
days I go out and I'm like, I just got to get something off my chest, so I'm gonna go play.
Right.
Some days I go out there and I'm like, I need to be a 5-0 by 2 months from
Right.
now.
So it's a different reason each
It's a
time. That's
different
cool.
it's a different reason every day, and weeks in advance I will know. Okay, that Thursday
I'm
I'm
in.
gonna play pickleball. I don't know what the
Right.
reason is, but I'm gonna play pickleball, and I just know that I'll need
That's
it.
actually really cool because most people like in sports are just like, no, I'm
This
going to
is
get
what they want,
better.
yeah.
I'm going to achieve this goal, this and that.
But
And the
that's the
fact that it's,
physicality of the sport. Wouldn't you agree?
yeah,
We've
no, I
talked
mean,
about that.
bringing everything kind of
Full
full
circle. Oh
circle,
my gosh, we just did
like
it.
even the, yeah.
That's what
Ye-
happens.
But the way I'm thinking about that now too is that, is like, am I going out there because Joey wants to go play? Am I going out there because
Oh,
I
we're
want to
always going
play?
out there because Joy wants to play.
Yeah,
Let's be
but am
real.
I going out there because
Joey's
because
like,
I've been injured for the past like 2.5
years.
Yeah.
months, something like that. And so I'm sitting there going, sometimes I'll go out there and I'll be like, no, I'm going to go out there because I want to get out there. I want to have fun. I want to just kind of same reasons. And I think that's the cool thing about it. That's why it's so addicting.
Yeah. Yep.
And you know what I find as a mom of 3 boys, I have spent a lot of hours on the fields and the courts, from basketball to lacrosse, to karate, to whatever it took. I'm not going to lie. Pickleball is really fun to watch. I mean, there would be summers that my tush would be on fire and I would just because there's nowhere to
Oh, you're
sit.
sitting on the cement.
And I'm just sitting on the cement and the
Right.
heat is just generating through my clothes. And they're like, "Do you want to get up? Do you want?" I'm like, "No." I'm totally enthralled by watching all these people, the way they interact. It's been a blessing.
Yeah.
It's been a blessing.
Bric,
Bric,
it's been an
yeah.
absolute pleasure to have you on the team.
The pleasure's all
It
mine.
really is.
Thank
And
you,
I
guys.
hope that I get to play with you. I do not want to play against you.
Anytime.
We'll check out next gen. We got to check that out.
Yeah, we'll
I
find out
put it
about it
down.
for you.
Yeah.
But thank you, Bric.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
You're a pleasure.
Yeah,
No, I
thank you.
appreciate
And
it.
we'll see you
Awesome.
for episode 5. Bye, folks.